Here comes the field to the starting line, and Alex Bowman gets out front as we're underway in Homestead.
Yeah, and we've seen that all weekend. That bottom lane just fires off better than the out lane. It's a lot easier for those guys to get grip on those rear tires taking off.
We're off to the races. Blaney on the outside, 3 wide of Briscoe already. A few more rows 3 wide. Here we go.
You broke off right there, and I thought you were getting ready to call a horse race. I was getting excited.
These guys are excited. Look at the lanes, the 3 different distinct lines of this racetrack. They're all over the place already.
Oh, spinner almost. One car lost control, slipped to the back of the field. However, we are able to continue, and that was the 41 of Cole Custer.
And that immediately jams everything up, and you see all the lanes that these guys can choose from, especially in turns 1 and 2. You can do the same thing down in turns 3 and 4, but the end result is going to be up against the fence to be fast in this corner down here.
Tire management, you cannot stress it enough, and it starts right here.
And here we are for the lead off turn number 4. Blaney trying again, but on the high side, Bowman with the edge.
Doesn't surprise me. Didn't see the speed out of this 12 car yesterday in practice, but certainly knows how to get around this place. All but had it won last year.
So those 8 laps, the first laps that Bowman has led on this speedway. Ryan Blaney goes to the front. And here's the 5 again. Close encounter with the outside wall.
Yeah, it's definitely he's working on finding out how thick that right rear quarter panel is, but he's put that thing to use this weekend, rubbing it up against the wall.
Second place, Bowman coming back after last week's winner, Josh Berry.
Well, we saw this a lot in the truck race on Friday night. We'd see guys get passed, and then they'd move around and find somewhere else on the racetrack, pass the guy back.
Here he comes. He's on the bottom of the racetrack. Spot on, Larry, just like you said, splitting it in half.
So Larson led 4 laps and comes to pit road.
The guys that pitted really early, you're going to have to go a long ways on this run. The cars were already really ill handling compared to what they're going to be at the end of this run. Is probably going to be another step or 2 worse, and that's really where the guys who waited to pit will make that time up, because it'll probably be in chunks of like a half a second. Traffic is a struggle today. These guys are really struggling in traffic to be able to make passes. As you see Bubba Wallace try to slide up the racetrack right there.
Not clear.
Maybe he didn't try to, but he slid up the racetrack. He heard Austin Cindric lift out of the gas. So, oh, he's frustrated.
Contact there with Josh Berry looking on. This battle is for 8th place.
And that's what happens at this racetrack. You get extremely frustrated with a guy that's right up against the wall, riding on your quarter panel when you're trying to finish the pass. And
now he was patient after he made his pit stop, because Larson was 15th when the pit cycle started. When he came back out and the cycle finished, he was still in 15th, rode there for a while, but now he's picking them off one by one, and he's into the top 10.
Watching that Xfinity race yesterday, that line that he just ran off of 4, where he didn't ride the wall all the way around, kind of broke off of it just past the apex, Kevin. He's had a lot of success doing that yesterday. That car's loose. Look at it dancing around.
Christopher Bell spins off turn 4 to bring out the first caution flag of the race.
You can see him back here. It's right up by the walnut outside. Car gets loose, comes out from underneath of him, Kev.
yeah, just flat out lost the rear of the car and spun out.
Larry was literally just telling us under break, man, the 20 car just hasn't went anywhere. We thought that he would be one of the cars that would contend for a win with that dirt background, his ability to run that outside.
Blaney and Bowman up front, and boy, Gregson didn't get going.
Gregson missed a shift or something up in the front.
5 wide. That also sent Wallace backwards.
Well, Gregson just got loose and got up into Wallace and got in the wall. Still having troubles with the 4 car. Did not get a good restart at all.
And Reddick was back behind Gregson and kind of paid the price for the lack of momentum there too. All right, Blaney the leader.
Ooh, that was
Bowman
close, Kevin.
Close for 3rd right now. Byron on the outside of Briscoe.
Just barely slid up in front of Bowman.
3 wide for 3rd.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about. Is you see Kyle Larson up on the outside right there. He's had a great restart with the way that 4 car stacked up, worked out in his favor, and he's taking advantage of it.
And McDowell with those 2 tires faded to 21st in 4 laps.
One more shot at him. Here he comes on the bottom.
Who's going to win stage one? Blaney up top. Bowman slides up behind him. And Ryan Blaney will get the stage win from Bowman, Briscoe, and Larson.
Two cars still needs to be freer. The 48 of Alex Bowman couldn't get the throttle down to be able to get up there and battle with Ryan Blaney for the stage. Trouble on pit road.
Yeah, Barry goes around, and he's not the only one there.
Logano as well.
Yeah, and they ran into it looked like the door of the 5 car.
Right front out there.
Yeah.
All right, so let's show you first what happened here. Yeah, 4 wide right there.
Yeah.
Barry gets turned around with Logano. Larry Logano's in his pit box, but he came up the wrong way. Is this a legal stop?
It is. He and Josh Berry both. They are in their pit box. They may not be the right way, but they are in the pit box. A legal stop.
Now the car to watch is that 77 Hocevar, who did not pit with everyone else at the end of stage 1. He is on tires that are 5 laps older under green flag conditions than the rest of the field, but in doing so, he restarted up front with the lead. Now back to 6th.
I think he's actually weathered the storm. I think that the first lap and a lap and a half is probably the hardest part to deal with, as we see a battle for the lead right here with Ryan Blaney and Alex Bowman.
Going to slide up in front of him now. I think Bowman's going to go ahead and let him have it. Lifted out of the gas a little bit early, but look right there behind them. Denny Hamlin, this 11 car's solid, likes his clean air, and it's coming.
101 laps complete. Denny Hamlin's Joe Gibbs Toyota is flying toward the front. He restarted 9th. Here's his pass on Alex Bowman to take over 6th place, or excuse me, take over 2nd place, and now he's 1.2 seconds back of leader Ryan Blaney. Now these cars are unlapping themselves from Denny Hamlin.
Byron's bunch had a good stop right there. He did a good job of shrinking that gap on that Blaney.
Preece and Van Gisbergen in getting service. As now the top 15 cars on your scoring pylon have not yet been to pit road in this pit cycle. Spinner at the front end of pit road. Now we should stay green if that car gets itself righted and turned around. It's Daniel Suarez who was running in the top 5. We are okay. Suarez gets going again. We stay green.
Well, this is what we talk about every week. Don't beat yourself on pit road. We saw Suarez capitalize on not making any mistakes last week. So easy to do getting off the racetrack here. The way that splitter drags the apron and the old tires as Kyle Larson hits pit road into his pit box.
Now here's the battle for 4th place. Pole sitter Alex Bowman coming back after Denny Hamlin.
Well, we know Denny Hamlin's on that strategy that waited to pit. Got a little bit fresher tire than Alex Bowman right now, but Clint, as you know, when you get to the end of these runs like this, it just becomes difficult to finish the passes with as little grip as the cars have, but Denny's going to make it happen right here.
Tyler Reddick, how about Reddick back in 11th spot? We expected him to be a contender today. Hasn't really worked his way to the front, not yet.
Well, we know how good he is at this racetrack, and today it has just not been in his game. You see him come down the racetrack right there, can't ride the wall.
Trying to pass his car as well, Wallace.
Yeah, and he's had trouble getting by Bubba Wallace, and he's able to make the pass right there. Kyle Larson right there in 5th place.
Well, we're only 7 laps from the end of stage 2, so everybody trying to stay on the lead lap going into into stage 3.
Look how close Hamlin and Larson have caught. They have caught Blaney and Byron here, having trouble with these lappers.
Yeah, having trouble with those lappers. That's the big thing, and those lappers do not want to get lapped right here at the end of this stage. So if you're one of those guys that are on the tail end of the lead lap, hold your line, don't come off that top groove, run wherever that leader is running. You want your car right in front of him to take that air off of his nose. And that's what happens when you get in these shuffles with these lap cars and not having being at the end of these runs. There's nowhere to go, Clint. The fast line is around the top, and the lap cars are not doing anything wrong.
And here comes Larson after Byron.
Well, they have to hold on. They have to hold on as hard as they can to try to stay on that lead lap. This is good racing right here. 5 to go.
And we know Kyle Larson, he's got fresher tires than all these guys. His pit strategy was to wait a little bit longer, so that's really paying off for him right now.
Blaney now has to deal with that Toyota that draws to his inside. Denny Hamlin, and just ahead trying to stay on the lead lap is Ross Chastain. Florida man up in the top groove. Here comes the leader to his inside.
Yeah, now he's got Denny Hamlin right there with him with a big run off the corner and fresher tires.
Comes a crossover. Larry, I am sold on this splitting the stages in half. Here's both cars that did that. The 11 and the 5 marching to the front. Looking
Remember,
like they're going to run 1-2.
is a longer stage. Will they go with that same strategy again?
I think that principle is going to apply for a lot of these cars. Everybody sees that on pit road. Everybody's going to start migrating a little bit closer to it, I would think. Cole Custer in front of them. Larson's going to shoot to the inside. Custer doesn't give him that outside. This could be it. Larson really hooked that bottom good. It's going to be a drag race. Here comes the momentum of Hamlin. I think Larson's going to get him. Oh, he ran out of time.
Denny Hamlin. Here's a look at Blaney.
He definitely just pulled straight out with Blaney coming on with momentum, but look how much it slowed him down. Just keeps compiling worse and worse. Then he loses 6 spots on pit road.
Definitely not destroyed, though. I think that might have been a little bit
frustration.
A little bit of frustration.
Bubba Wallace going after Kyle Larson for the lead.
Yes, he is, and he had short run speed yesterday in practice. Does not surprise me. Bubba Wallace's car was extremely fast yesterday. I liked what I saw out of that.
Wallace paced Group 1 practice.
Well, we saw that at Las Vegas last week, too. He had great short run speed to start practice and in the race. And right now he's up alongside Kyle Larson for the lead.
I bet you Kyle just lets him go. On out there. Take off sprinting. I'll run you. See you later. Whole different scenario for Blaney. Finally, some cars in front of him that weren't lap traffic, Kevin. Way different scenario.
And that's the tough part about dominating these races early in the first half of the race. When we talked about this earlier, it's hard to keep up with the changes on your car. And now he's in traffic. All these guys have been in traffic all day working on their car. So now when you're in traffic, it puts you behind on the adjustments on your car from the rest of the day.
Ryan Blaney's engine goes up in smoke. Second engine failure of the year for the number 12. They lost one at Phoenix.
I'm fucking blown up. You have got to be shitting me. Oh my God. Sorry, fellas. It'll go our way eventually, I hope. Appreciate the fast car.
Yeah, we talked about this at Phoenix as to whether this was a sign of something that the Fords had going on and where that would lead. We saw this with Toyota last year when they had multiple engine failures. So now that's 2 for Blaney. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye on this as we go forward. But what terrible luck for this 12 team. Running that top groove, it just becomes harder to be able to pass because the cars are more into one line. So you want to get everything that you can on these restarts, and might be the last one. You never know.
Hold on to it, Bowman.
Oh man.
Hamlin fought back and then ran out of racetrack. Here's Larson to his inside now.
Not clear. That was as close as you can get. About turned him right into the wall, didn't it, Kev?
Yes, it did, and definitely got cleared. And when he wasn't clear right there, caught the front end of Larson's car.
5 cars under a blanket for 3rd place.
Luckily, we didn't wind up with a wreck right there.
Well, Larson's been into the wall again. Here's a look.
We need a Larson wall counter.
I think that's 17. I've been trying to keep track of that. Here we go. Pass for the lead. Look at this. Look at the run on that outside. Oh, he had to lift, Kevin. Lifted. Big time momentum going to the 48 side draft. Not clear. Still there.
Remember, these two are not best friends. They had contact at Chicago post-race.
Yeah, and this 23 car, he knew right there. He said, if this 48 car clears me, and there he goes.
Yep.
Alex Bowman's able to clear Bubba Wallace for the lead. But every lap that we inch closer to the end of this race is further than we've been. We're going to have to go further than we've been. And I still believe that's going to bring an advantage to Kyle Larson and that high line as you get closer and closer to the end of this race. Now, what do the cars in the front do? Do they tank that last 8 to 10 laps, or do they maintain this speed? So we don't really know. The 23 is saying that maybe the 48 is going to fall back to him, but
now remember what happened.
There's the slide job I'm talking about. Right, caught him at the right time. That was a timing thing and a good job. That's exactly what we watched him do in the Xfinity race yesterday. Does he go for it here in 3 and 4? Yep, here he goes. Be a slide job.
I was going to say, did you really ask that if he was going to go? Have you ever seen him not go?
11 to go, coming to 10 to go. It's time to go.
That's the question that answered itself.
Have to stay poised in the car, be disciplined, do not get in that fence.
And he already made the right move of putting this, now he's in the fence.
There it is. Watch it, oh, he's in it hard too.
Pull off of it, pull off of it.
And here comes Larson. And Kyle Larson takes the lead.
And that's exactly what we were talking about, Clint. Don't make that mistake. And when you haven't run that lane all day and you have to step up and try to do what Kyle Larson is doing, it puts so much pressure on the drivers.
Get it around here to the white flag. A race is official. 11 times he's been here and only won once. That tells you how hard it is to ride this wall for 267 laps.
White flag here. One more good one.
Well,
White flag for Larson, who's only led 18 laps today.
Yeah, I mean, he's flat out the best at riding the wall. We would consider him the best at this particular racetrack, and all weekend he has put on display exactly what we think with his talents.
Kyle Larson about to become the third winningest driver for Hendrick Motorsports, behind Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson. 2/3 of the clean sweep for the weekend. And coming around turn 4 for his 30th career win, Kyle Larson for Hendrick Motorsports and Chevrolet wins in Homestead.
That's a big win for him. Good run for Alex Bowman. It's a heartbreaker. Did a great job. Great weekend. Good turnaround for Chase Briscoe in that 19.
Hi folks, Lee Diffie from NBC Sports here. If you truly enjoyed what you just watched, you can get more news, interviews, and highlights by subscribing to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube page. You can get it all, so go for it.